This video will describe how to get Ask Grok, a case deflection or internal answers copilot set up in your system. So the principles here are we have the concept of an embedding. Embeddings are content that you want your team to be able to ask questions of. And this could be anything from internal documentation to a deal process to external customer support. Now, these can be tied to internal Salesforce knowledge articles. This could be on Confluence, SharePoint, Google Drive. There's multiple ways to get the content in, but we're first going to go over the high-level concepts of how the Ask Grok process works and then how to set it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this sales quotation process as an example for an internal sales team. So what we want to do is first of all, go in and set up what we're calling roles or topics. So what do I mean by that? That allows us to have isolation of certain knowledge articles set to certain people. So maybe we want to keep constrained the ability to ask things of the sales team away from the support team. Or maybe there's internal sensitive projects, what have you. So we'll first come into Salesforce Setup, and we're going to search for a pick list, and we'll go into pick this value sets, and there's something called Ask Grok topic name. So if we click into this, we can see that we have a few names here for various departments or topics you want to isolate from others. So globally available is standard with our package. Here I've added a sales and engineering value, and set as many of these that you think are applicable to separate knowledge from others. Now, once we have that set up, we can go back to our Ask Grok app. We can go to Ask Grok roles, and here we can see I've set up a role called North America. And I've set this to be North America sales, and when I come in, I can actually edit this and make other topics that I set up in that global pick list available here as things that will apply to this role. So you can have one role, North America sales, apply to multiple topics based on that pick list. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as sales, but know that maybe you could include a support topic with the sales team if you want, but that's high level how that works. And then we need to add users to this role. So if I hit new, we can pick Slack users. Oftentimes there are Slack users and not Salesforce who don't have a Salesforce license. You can also set it to be both. In this case, I'm going to pick the Slack user Ryan and hit save, and we'll see that this person is added to the list. Okay, so now Ryan, Regina on the Slack side have access to this, and so does the Salesforce user Ryan. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set up an embedding itself. So in this case, I have this sales quoting. I'm going to set this up from scratch. So let's say I have an article. I'm just going to paste in the content, but we'll create a new one here. So new. We'll call this sales quote process. Maybe you have an internal URL that you'd like people to see when they ask the question. It comes up as a reference. I'll show you how that works in a second. Here's our topic access. So if we want to limit it just to sales, anyone who's in the sales role from that topic roles table, we can set that there. and then we can give it a topic name, in this case sales. This is actually optional based on our rules, but I'll show you that here in a second. Now we're just going to paste in our content. This is some description of how the sales process works. Of course, you can use Salesforce Flow to populate these, and we'll have other videos on how to populate these from other systems. So I'll go ahead and hit save. And the important note here is that this has not yet been embedded, meaning it has not, when we see it's inactive, when we see the embedding date, model, and external ID is blank, that means it's not actually an embedding yet. You can't actually query anything in this embedding quite yet until we come in and hit this to active. We'll hit save and give this a moment. And now we see that it is set to active. We see an embedding date timestamp. We see the model name that was used to embed it. And this is now an active embedding. So let me show you how to set up the Q&A. How did someone ask about this embedding now? In this case, I'm going to set it up on the opportunity object. So let me edit this page, and we have a component called Central Ask Grok. We're going to do this on the Salesforce side and the Slack side. So here I've dragged the Ask Grok prompt onto the opportunity page layout. This can be dragged on to Experience Cloud or other places that you see fit to ask questions. And just a couple things in the design time settings. We have two options. We can enable the Grok roles, so it automatically figures out who you are and what you have access to. I highly recommend this, especially if you've done the pre-setup work. If you just want to have always statically set to some knowledge topic based on what I set here in the in this topic name for the embedding, you can go ahead and set that as well. But in this case, I don't want it to dynamically figure out what I have access to based on who I am. So now I'm going to hit save and back, and we'll test it out. And this article has something about when to quote, or when to clone an order, I should say. So here's a tip, cloning an existing order. So maybe I'm on my opportunity and I want to say, when should I clone a quote? I'll hit ask. And it gives me a response. You should clone a quote when you need to create a similar quote for modifications. This can be done on the quoting page and hit clone. Let's see how close that was. You can go to the quote and hit clone. Nice. So that's surfacing from our article, and you can see this has given us a link too for the source. So if I click into this, I'll be able to see the same topic that I just, or the same article I just read. Not bad. So let's do the same thing on the Slack side. Okay, so if I go into my Central app and go into form setup, typically what we're seeing here is people wanting to deflect a case using Central Forms as a backstop for creating the case. So the idea is that we want to preempt the creation with an answer from Ask Grok, and then if it fails or doesn't produce a good answer, they can go ahead and continue to create the case. In this case, so I have this tied to a case object. Of course, you can change that in Central Forms, see other videos for that. Now you'll see this deflect questions with Grok AI. We'll hit edit. I'm going to do the same setup here where I'm going to reference the topic rules instead of a specific topic name. And then I have options for accepting the answer, giving feedback, share answer. Again, that's covered in other videos. So we'll hit save here and we'll go test this out. So I'm in this channel. When should I clone a quote? In this case, I've got it tied to the message shortcut create case. You can see it's asking, and then we get a similar answer to what we did on the Salesforce side with a source link. So that is the setup process for Ask Grok. We'll deep dive into more of the detailed setup, but that should give you an idea of how to get going with case deflection using embeddings in the Ask Grok product. Thanks so much for watching.